You deserve recognition for what you have done. You've freed us from Templar oppression. Yet I fear you may have defeated the lesser of two evils. Still, take something. You'll be needing it in the dark times to come. Once Kitava has... An exile returned. How is that even possible? Rising out of the darkness to claim the souls of our enemies like Hinekora in the stories my mother used to tell me. Well, your divine intervention gave us just the diversion we needed to take this tower. So if you keep doing things like that, then I might have to start believing in the gods again. We'd been planning it for months. I can't yet begin. An exile return. We'd been planning it for months. I can't yet begin. I'd be dead right now if not for when I was a courier for my... Once Kitava has gobbled up every scrap of Oriathan flesh, sucked every Oriathan bone dry of marrow, he'll turn his endless hunger to Namakanui and the whole Karui archipelago. As you know, the Karui will fight. And they'll fight hard, but they're going to need all the help they can get. And I know of 3 treasures that might just make the difference. They were taken when the Templar raided Namakanui. A whip woven of Hinekora's hair. A tooth that Tukohama ripped from his own mouth. A fishhook that was once the jawbone of Valakor. Together, they're known as Kitava's torments and lie within the reliquary that borders Oriath Square. I saw them with my own eyes when delivering messages to the scholars there. Please, go to the reliquary and claim those treasures before Kitava's children do.
We're glad you made it. No, damn it all, that's just too strange to abide. I'm glad you made it. And innocence tells me I need to keep helping you. So that's what I'm going to do. I know my way around weapons and armor, and all things Templar if you should want for further enlightenment on that subject. As for innocence, I don't know. Sometimes he makes sense. Other times, he's a shattered god. But he'll heal. I'll make sure of that. Lani's told me a little about Utula and his cult of Kitava. Enough to know what Utula's got planned. Bring about the fall of one god so he can raise up one of his own. And this Kitava, from what fragments I can piece together from innocence, he's not the benevolent kind. Please, find Utula and stop him. I'm not saying this because I want to put innocence back on his divine throne. I'm saying this because Oriath is my home. It's made some mistakes, but it doesn't deserve the fate that Utula has in mind.
can't do this just yet. I believe in traveling light.
You've done. Choose what you wish. Your wish has been granted.
Can't do this just yet. I believe in traveling light.
We are victorious for now.
Can't do this just yet. I can't do this just yet. I believe in traveling light. 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 I can't do this just yet.
Not all slaves believe Dutula's lies. Some I know have managed to steal a ship and are soon to set sail for Namakanui. Hopefully, with these treasures on board, Valakor will bless their voyage and breathe deeply into their sails. No, I'm not going with them. I helped bring this curse down upon Oriath, so I'll help save what little there is left to save. Here, take something, in thanks for your part in preserving the Karui Way.
The High Priest is dead, yet the object of his devotion remains. There's no doubt you did all right bringing that man-turned-monster to heel, but you weren't able to stop him fishing his master out of a river of blood. Damn. Sorry. I never could get the hang of boosting morale. Didn't seem right to polish the edges off harsh facts. Probably why I never made captain. Still, I've been poking around here for a bit, and have turned up Utula's stash. Quite the magpie he was. So here, help yourself. When it comes to hunting a god, I suppose every little bit helps.
can't do this just yet. I believe in traveling light. I believe in traveling light.
Greetings. Can't do this just yet. Seems a good time to question my life decisions.
flicker, but it cannot be extinguished.
I'm Captain Lily Roth, and we sail for Rayclast. Better to live in exile than die on this psychotic bonfire of an island. You want to make it out of here, you better get on board. But make it quick, 'cause I ain't got time for tears and regrets.
I can't do this just yet.
Good tidings to you. Remember, all right, we're safe for the time being. Now let me introduce myself properly. Lily Roth. Yep, I'm one of those Roths. Some call me smuggler, others pirate. Yeah, I prefer the sound of nautical entrepreneur. Came up with that one myself. So you come see Lily if you need something, or even if you just fancy a good chat with a lovely lady. Don't think I'd be forgetting that favour you owe to me. In fact, now I think of it, there's certainly a way you can be repaying this most considerable debt. You see, those blasted cultists have been plundering the refugee ships trying to escape Oriath. And if not for my incomparable skill as a sea captain, we'd have met the same fate. But now the drowned dead are washing ashore, and they ain't staying dead. There's been a whole lot of blood, sweat and tears getting these few lucky survivors here in one piece. What sort of captain would I be if I let them get ripped apart by walking corpses? Wipe the Twilight Strand clean of those filthy undead bastards and I'll call us even. Might even throw in a little something extra if you can pull it off.
Despite your best efforts, Beast Slayer, a splinter of hope remains. The very seed that brought my beast into existence. The Dark Ember. Never again shall it birth a life so magnificent as the beast. Yet a residue of that power still lingers. Enough to give us a fighting chance against the ravenous Kitava. How do we obtain this Dark Ember? 3 hearts were silenced. 3 hearts must sing again, one last time. In that final flickering of life, our Savior's seed shall be born. All I need are 3 fine souls with which to stoke the flames. Chevron of Umbra, Inquisitor Maligaro, Dodre the Dark Tongue. 3 spirits of near unfathomable resilience and vigor, freed with the beast's final exhalation. So let us begin the harvest. Chevron has come home to Axiom. We shall give her the warm welcome she sincerely deserves.
I've never been one for history class.
You're still alive. So is Kitava. What more do you need to know? You'll find a way. I believe it.
Kitava is a primal deity, forged from the most fundamental of human desires, hunger. The simple act of craving that which we cannot yet consume. To defeat Kitava is to squeeze the very heart of human nature into stillness. You don't think you can do that? I suppose we'll see, won't we?
I don't ask this in the name of innocence. He understands now the folly his devotees have wrought upon this world. I ask in the name of Oriath. There are many that deserve what Kitava offers, and there are many more who do not. Put an end to Kitava's savage reign, for there remains much in this land that is worth saving.
There is no shame in falling to a god. Shame lies only in refusing to rise again. You shall soar. That much I'm permitted to foresee. You shall ascend to the peak of your loftiest mistake, and from there you shall pluck a single surviving hope from the jaws of immortal despair. A ship sails for Lion Eye's watch, not far from here. Be on it.
Greetings, survivor.
Why, hello, stranger. I am Faustus, the captain of the fair Maryline. Consider me your access to the wealth of Raycroft. There's not a single market I can't reach. You've got currency, they've got currency, and thus I shall be your most esteemed facilitator, for a small fee, of course.
First we hear that Oriath has lost its bloody mind, and then you turn up. Doesn't take a scholar to work out how these two events might be connected. I don't know what's going on out there, and I probably wouldn't understand it if I saw it with my own two eyes. What I do know is this. The world we knew, it's gone. Now we have to do our damnedest to make sure we don't go with it. Nessa. I saw her one night, running out across the coast, headed in the direction of the mudflats. Called out to her, but she didn't even turn her head. Maybe she couldn't hear me. Maybe she didn't want to. I don't bloody know. I tried to run after her, but she'd vanished into the darkness before my feet had barely touched the sand. So I tracked her, all the way to the mudflats, and that's when her tracks, they just stopped. No sign of meeting someone or something. No sign of a struggle. It's like one moment she was running and the next, gone. Look, I've heard some things about what you've done. Things that beggar belief. Now you can do this. Please. Find Nessa. Bring her back to us.
Now there's a pair of eyes I could never forget. If the tales are true, those peepers of yours have seen all the wonders of Raycroft now, and a few things they likely wish they hadn't. Oh, and no need for us to speak of Oriath. My ears are brimful of the sorrows these wretched companions of yours have been spilling. Now, I'm sure you've noticed that Lion Eye's watch has seen better days. Our once bubbling township has become a brooding quagmire of gloom and despair. I blame the unrelenting weather. As you know, I am both a humanitarian and a strong believer in the soul-sustaining power of story. Back when I was still captain of the Merry Gull, many days at sea afforded me time to work on my thespian aspirations. I wrote a theatrical epic, a one-man show entitled Cedric and the Buxom Stranger. I sealed the manuscript inside a roll of oiled leather and stashed it in the hold for safekeeping. Perhaps you could salvage it for me from that tidal island upon which my poor ship came to rest. Who knows? Maybe we can bring some joy back to Lion Eye's Watch with a bit of live entertainment.
What have you got for me? Hello, hello. What have you got for me?
Time for an encore.
seem sane enough to understand? Look to the wall ahead and know that I speak the truth. Creatures from another world are invading Rayclast, and we'll all be swarmed under soon enough. Unless we do something. Take my gift of flame. It is our greatest weapon against the Hiveborn. Ah! Your body has survived my gift. Now, test your new power. Wield the flame against that wall. Do not be afraid. Use the flame.
Choose what you wish.
I can't do this just yet.
Come here, quickly! My dreamer, you did it!
I believe in traveling light. I believe in traveling light. Do this just yet.
Tukohama. Tukohama.
I believe in traveling light.
I am Sin, thief of virtue, and it is mine to take what I will from the defeated, to make a gift of it to the victorious. Alas, your mortal frame cannot withstand the unfettered fire of deism. It would turn your blood to mist and scorch your precious flesh black. So choose modestly and choose wisely, for there is much more at stake here than your little hopes and dreams.
That was the Tukohama? Best not mention this to the Karui.
Marvelous. Oh, yes, yes, it's all here. Act 1, Scene 1. Along the shoreline, the beach grass sways, a blazing sun sinks 'neath sparkling waves. Oh, strange be the night when the drowned dead rise, and a pale moon ascends upon corpse clouds. The stranger still is lost to me, those silken pillows upon which I lay and see. Moody, atmospheric, not as funny as I remember, but I'm sure it gets better in Act 2. Regardless, you have my thanks. Please, take something for your efforts. And next time you're in town, do come and see the show. I'll leave your name at the door, if I can salvage it from somewhere. Made any progress? Still composing that poem about you, exile?
You've killed the Karui war god. Can you kill a god? Look, I can't even begin to understand what you've just done. Vestal will be able to put our gratitude into words more fitting of a legend. Me, I'll work with what I know. A solid reward for a damn fine deed.
Still composing that poem about you, exile?
do this just yet. There's a lady in a tower, but this is no fairy tale. I can't do this just yet.
shall not suffer this humiliation again!
I can't do this just yet. Always a pleasure, lady.
This world is dull and ugly. An imperfect feast of sights, feelings, and smells that repulse and depress. Yet amongst this
And so
deformity,
it
I
begins.
found my sublime...
My ethereal veins now run.
This world...
And so it begins. My ethereal veins now run with dark ambition. Let's turn that trickle into a torrent. Let's harvest ourselves a Grand Inquisitor. Just as Chevron's spirit chose to return to comfortable climes, Maligara's essence once again dwells in his very own chamber of sins. Though I hasten to add that Maligara's sins are not my sins. I prefer transgressions of a more natural order than does he. I'd carry you to Frisia if I could, yet I expended too much of myself when I snatched you from the jaws of Kitava. You will need to find your own path, as will I. Make the journey, and please survive it. We too have much work left to do.
Good work clearing another path through Axiom Prison. I'm starting to think those stories I've heard about you might be true. With the road to the Frisian forest clear again, I trekked through to the forests beyond to see if the strangeness we're seeing on the coast is also happening inland. What I saw nearly froze my heart solid. The animals there, poor wretches, overtaken by some sort of parasite. As close as I can reckon, they're like termites, burrowing into flesh and mind instead of wood. If I'm right, there'll be a nest somewhere, and a queen. If you can find it, destroy it. Those parasites aren't something we want to see around here anytime soon.
Who'd have thought those bleating bastards would go and find religion, eh? Now there's nothing quite so sure to spoil a man's appetite than an ecclesiastical debate come supper time. Yet this goatman god, this Aberoth, seems fair determined to mix his morsels with his spiritual enlightenments. To put no finer point on it, when the goatmen find him a soft pink human or two as divine sacrifice, he eats them, meat, soul, and all. Well, that's what the legend says.
another wrath.
At last, your thirst is quenched. Good souls were hard enough to come by without that parched old goat drinking his fill. You have done humanity a noble service.
Ah, and now I stink of goat.
What are you doing? God drag you to damnation if you're gonna stand by and let this happen to me, to us! Because believe me, the Brian King has far greater appetites than one nothing of a girl from Oriath. It doesn't matter what he'll do to me now. It's what he'll do to Rayclast. Yet there's hope. There's always hope. If only you can reach Merveil's cave. If only...
You're not but skin and bone. The most...
Do this just yet. can't do this just yet.
The Brand King. His time has almost come. Then hope will be... I will be gone. Please.
I can't do this just yet.
So you're the shite that's gone and summoned me to the beacon, eh? Damn it all. Since rules are now bound to you, the legendary Wayland Roth, captain of the Black Crest, cursed to be the undead slave of some lowly outcast by the looks of it. You got an ass for a brain in a tick skull of yours? Of course I'll ferry you to the Prime King's bloody reef. I'll be wanting to discharge this accursed duty and get back to me afterlife. It's not right. Not natural being above water without a beating heart in me chest. So get yourself aboard and be quick about it. Don't think I'm going to be bawling and chaining after your sorry ass once our journey to the reef is done.
I've never dueled a king before. First time for everything.
Right, well on with it then. Go find yourself a salty sovereign to dethrone. Fool's errand, if you ask me. Old Bryony will catch you like a fish, but at least with you, I'll be free to go with my own voyage.
Can't do this just yet.
born of ocean's mire, and death washed clean of dark desire. And thus the Lord of Salt and Scale sinks to feed the fishes that flit amongst the ruins of Soartha. Come and jest of his divine juices while they are all washed away.
I'm sorry, Lady Nessa, but there was nothing I could do for you.
How did you? You're still breathing. Bloody barnacles on me arse. You, my new friend, are a legend of the high seas to behold. I tell you what, I've already done my bit getting you here, but if you're looking to sail on to Frisia, me and the Black Crest would be honored to take ya.
Welcome. I'm Rog. Gwennon said you'd be heading this way. Said you've got quite the moves. You're the kind of man that faces monsters with bravery and skill, are you? I prefer to avoid fighting myself. This continent is fraught with danger. I specialize in logistics and planning, so I'm happy to support your fighting with my supply skills. Care to check out some of my deals?
Yes?
The name's Tujin. You're to do the dirty work while we do the digging. It's as good an alliance as any. Well, it's up to them.
Clearly the old Brine King wasn't worth his salt. A fish out of water, if ever there was. But, I suppose, as someone wise once said, you can't teach a crab to walk straight. Too much. Yeah, be honest with you. All this fishy mirth is me just swimming around a tricky topic. Nessa. She's not coming back to us, is she? Can't say it was but with everything she's been through, what she's become. I wish her all the happiness she can find out there in the sea. More than she could muster on this god's-awful land of ours. The old goat's turned up his tootsies, has he? Oh, wait! I feel a poem coming on.
Through the bleating flock, our exile did wade, over hoof and horn and goat blood stray, until at last an audience with old King Billy, or the Cloven One, or Eberron, and other names just as silly. Dine with me, friend, old Billy did proud. Feed me your soul, feed me it now. Our exile just smiled and gutted that goat, so that not one more soul would get stuffed down his old throat.
Honestly, you wouldn't believe how hard it is to find a good rhyme for goat exile.
The Black Crest. She lives again. And my granddaddy. Still can't believe Mervale did that to him. The bilesome bitch. At least his spirit roams free once again. Wonder if he'll come and visit his favorite granddaughter one more time. Anyways, with the Brine King gone, you've done a fine thing for us seafarers. The waters won't no longer pander to the whim of an overgrown, bloody crustacean. And damn me if I don't feel a stirring in me loins. It's the ocean, calling, like a lust-starved lover. But for now, bugger it all. I'll be sticking about Lion Eye's watch until I get me a new ship. Don't feel sorry for me. With me womanly wiles as sharp as they are, I'll be having Tarkley help me pass the time. Just you see.
I'd hoped for a chance to see Nessa again. dreamed it like some poor bloody child believing in fairy tales. No, she's not one of us anymore. But at least she's not like Mervale either. Can't overlook a mercy like that. Who knows? Perhaps Nessa is better off this way. Not like this is much of a home to come back to anyway. Look, I know you did what you could. And for that, you'll always have my thanks. Another damn god, you say? Yeah, that figures. A primitive deity from a primitive time, crawling up out of the dirt with a view to enslaving us all with its creeping, bloody offspring. I think we could all do without gods like that. So here, take something for the road ahead. The way things are going, it'll be a tough one.
The Asmeri believed that, one day, this world of ours would collapse under the weight of Raslatha's offspring. A frightening thought, and thankfully, a mistaken one.
I believe in traveling light.
Hold on to your cockles, me hearty. The sea betwixt here and Frisia be the most ill-tempered there is. Here's hoping you've as much steel in your gizzard as you seem to in your heart. Cast off!
Judging by that rather curious ship and its aberrant captain, I imagine you had rather an interesting voyage here. Now, Inquisitor Maligaro, we must have his soul. He has most certainly returned to his old haunt, yet his manifestations are like wisps on the wind. There one moment, gone the next. While I am familiar with the phantasmal trails and tributaries that filigree this reality, Maligaro's exact whereabouts eludes me. You should speak with these desperates who cling to this broken bridge, that young Templar scholar in particular. Their mundane knowledge must provide where my enlightened sapience cannot.
What'll I do now? This here broken bridge speaks to me so. A fair place to rest my old bones for a bit. And tell you what, with all this sunlight and fresh air, I can feel the calling forth of the poetic muse beneath me trousers. Been a long time since I felt this here compass pointing any direction. Now, speaking of navigations and the like, a long time ago, I had me a nice collection of riches stuffed away in a lockbox. Being the stupid ass that I am, I buried the thing one eve when I was high in my cups. God for the death of me remember where except I knew it was near this broken bridge. The box has a silver locket in it. It holds the portrait of my late wife, Meredith. It's the last thing I have in this world to remember her by. If you happen across my lockbox in your travels, I'd be appreciating of its return.
Seem to have a penchant for presenting yourself when times are at their most perplexing. It would seem that our Almighty has forsaken us. False deities from ages past now rise and ravage, while our blessed innocence remains as silent as the stones at my feet. So much for Templar propaganda, eh? Well, I suppose if we are to fend for ourselves, then I should answer your troubling arrival with our own most pressing tribulation. The relic that washed ashore and started all the chaos. It was covered in ancient vow.
You arrive. The Great Spirit spoke in my dreams. Told me that darkness would again drown our lands. And you, exile, would walk before the flood. But what is this? You are not alone. A shade, a memory, older even than... No, older than spirit? Fear grips my throat. I shake, but the spirit drapes a warming cloak upon my shoulders. This ancient ghost that follows you, it has the trust of the spirit. And if the spirit trusts, then I trust.
Turn your back for the barest moment and Rayclast bites you in the proverbial. I imagine that's how you're feeling upon visiting us this time. It's how I feel about now. I'm afraid that the Inquisitor's spirit has indeed returned to the Chamber of Sins. Yet while you won't encounter Meligaro by wandering his halls, I do perhaps know how you can find him. Whilst investigating the Fell Shrine, I learned of the existence of a map, forged by Meligaro from his own viscera. This map allowed him to transfer his spirit into another form of existence, an existential safe house to which he could retreat should death ever attempt to take him. Understanding the map's purpose, Vol tried to destroy it, to no avail. So he locked it away deep within the ruins of Freesia Cathedral. Find that map and place it upon the Reverie device in Meligaro's old laboratory. And when you step over that threshold, expect the very worst.
What have you got for me?
Thank the gods. You're no saint, I can see that. Though, who am I to question what form divine providence comes in? I am the great Alva Valai, reliquarian extraordinaire. A seeker of mysteries, explorer of the unknown, lover of all things that glitter, and I need your help. The lost temple of Aswell. Halls lined with finery, boxes stuffed with glimmering riches, and relics touched by insurmountable power. For eons lost, I believe the secret of its location lies in the vast city, which until very recently was submerged and completely unreachable. But with all this going on, the city has risen from the depths and, well, it's still completely unreachable. It seems the only way to even get close is across the river, and the only crossing is overrun with bandits. I've a plan that could make both of us unbelievably wealthy, but perhaps one day.
Hello.
are well?
What do you need?
Hail! You're naught but skeleton. Our expedition